Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happya Life Podcast. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. Hello and welcome back to the Happya Life Podcast. I'm Clare Deacon, your host, positive psychology coach and therapist, and I'm a fellow human figuring all of this out alongside you. So today we're diving into a topic that has most of us shifting in our seats. Boundaries. Yep, that word. Let's be honest. Even hearing it can make your chest tighten, because whilst boundaries are one of the most empowering tools in healing and in personal growth, they can also bring up a lot of guilt, fear, and resistance. So, if you've ever found yourself saying yes when you wanted to say no, felt exhausted from giving too much, or worried that putting your needs first makes you a bad friend, partner, parent, or person, then grab a cuppa, because this one's for you. So let's start with, why do boundaries feel so uncomfortable, especially if you've been through significant traumas in your life? So let's start here. If boundaries feel hard, it's not about a personal failing. It's your nervous system's intelligence. When you've grown up in chaos or been conditioned to fawn or experienced trauma where your safety depended on keeping peace, your body learns that saying no can be dangerous to you. So instead of speaking up, you learn to scan for other people's needs before your own. You become hyper attuned to keeping everyone else comfortable, even when it can cost you everything. In psychology, we call this fawning. It's one of the lesser talked about trauma responses, not fight or flight or freeze, but please. It looks like kind of apologizing, overextending yourself, constantly abandoning your own needs so that you could be liked or accepted or have a peaceful life. And here's the kicker. It can be incredibly effective until it isn't anymore for you. Because whilst people might think like you're so nice for giving more, inside, your body is going to start whispering, well, I'm exhausted and this isn't sustainable. And why do I start to feel resentful and I feel invisible and my needs are not being met? And that's when the call to reclaim your space begins. And let's be clear, everyone has faced some form of trauma. It may not have been life-threatening, but if there is a perceived threat to your well-being, either physical or mental, it has consequences on how you respond in upholding your boundaries. So let's bring in the brain. You know, I like the science bit because this is the bit that's fascinating. So your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that's responsible for executive function, for that decision making, your emotional regulation, needs to have a sense of psychological safety to work optimally. When you constantly override your own needs, that safety kind of diminishes. Brain interprets people pleasing as a survival mechanism, keeping you stuck in a low level stress response. So setting a boundary, even something small like saying, I'm not free tonight, can trigger that stress response until your nervous system learns that it is safe. But here's the magic. Every time you actually honor your boundary, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're teaching your system, I can have needs and still be loved. I can say no and still be safe. I can protect my energy and still belong. So, what does a working or a healthy boundary actually look like? So, let's address something right now. Boundary isn't a rule you bark at someone else. It's a compassionate, like, container for your own behavior. It sounds like I don't answer work messages after 6 p.m. or I'd love to see you, but I need some more notice. Last minute plans just don't work for me right now. Perhaps you might need to say, I'm not available for that, but here's what I can offer. Notice in those statements that boundaries don't need to be defensive or dramatic. They just need to be clear, consistent, and honouring of what your capacity is in that moment. So, there are a few that I'm going to give you that you can borrow for those especially sticky moments. So, perhaps someone may be asking something of you. So, a phrase you can use is, I know this matters to you, but right now I need to take care of my own energy. Another is, I want to be fully present and I just can't do that today. So, can we reschedule? A request to do something. This doesn't work for me. And I also want to find something, but I also want to find something that does. So, using those in different circumstances and having these set clauses. So, sometimes it might just mean that you need to buy yourself time. So, by this, I mean, rather than respond to somebody in the moment, give yourself the opportunity to check in with your emotions and whether your needs are being met by saying, oh, I'll just need to check my diary, or I need to find out whether something else is happening, or if I've got a clash, or it's dependent on something else. Let me check and come right back to you. It buys you time to find out. So use these approaches, adapt them for your own voice, your own circumstances, situations that you find yourself in. Maybe there's particular individuals where you want to have some of these statements prepared for yourself so that it gives you that safety net that you're prepared for holding those boundaries. So I want you to start practicing them to yourself. Say them in the mirror until they feel less scary. I guess there's always that fear of what if you face some pushback. So let's look at that. So sometimes, quite often, when we start setting boundaries, people react, especially if they're used to getting the version of you who never said no. Now, the way I describe this to clients is like you're in a dance with somebody else. And if you're going to step forward, you need that individual to step back and vice versa. You need to find your own position and place in the room. So you putting in place a different boundary means that they have to adjust to respond differently, to accommodate your different needs. And it's a change of awareness. And that changes and brings up their own nervous system to flag up and go, hang on a minute, Claire's not behaving the way I expect her to. So what's wrong here? What have I done different? What am I not aware of? And they need their moment to adjust and realize that it is safe and that you're not being a threat to them, but your needs need to be respected. So a boundary isn't mean. A boundary is clarity, and people's discomfort is not your cue to self-abandon. It's feedback. It's information. It's a moment to decide whether this relationship honors who you're becoming. and allowing others the time to adjust to that and realize that this isn't an attack on them, that it is safe, that it is a respectful need that you want to have upheld. Guilt is normal, especially if you were raised to believe that love had to be earned through self-sacrifice. But let me reframe this. Feeling guilty doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something new. You're reconditioning your system to believe I matter too. My needs deserve space. Boundaries are bridges. They aren't walls. They need to filter what is right for you and what isn't right. They create limits so that you have space for your needs and that person knows where that boundary limit is. You're not a bad person. You're not too much. You're not too needy. You are not selfish for choosing rest or quiet or solitude or space or preservation of your own energy. You're allowed to take up room in your own life. And you don't need to earn rest. Prove your worth. You don't need to apologize for needing what you need. So, as you go about your week, I invite you to try just one new boundary. Start small. Let your central nervous system know that it's safe to do so, and celebrate the hell out of yourself for doing it. Because this is the work. This is looking after your well-being. This is part of finding what really works for you and about how you achieve the success that you're looking for. This is how we heal. This is how we stop performing and we start living. Remember, I see you, I'm proud of you, and I promise it does get easier the more you practice it. So until next time, take gentle care of you. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website, happiercoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.